When General Tavor offered Captain Mara Jensen command of the Northern Defense Post, every officer in the war room expected the human to accept. Command meant honor and a warm bunker beneath shielded stone. The city of Aranth was hours from siege. The insectoid Carvax horde moving across the salt flats like a black tide, and the alien defenders were desperate enough to trust Earth's strange veteran with a sector of their ancient walls. Mara looked at the promotion tablet, then at the map, then at the thin blue line marking the forgotten maintenance ramp outside the west curtain, and said no. General Tavor's crest feathers lifted in outrage. Princess Lume, sent to observe the defense, stared as if the human had slapped the kingdom. Mara did not explain herself fully. Because war rooms loved explanations more than action, she only said the command post would survive without her. The wall would not. The officers called it arrogance, cowardice, confusion, perhaps a human inability to understand hierarchy. Mara signed the refusal, picked up a rifle, 3 charge packs, a coil of wire, and engineer spikes, then walked out alone toward the section no one had bothered naming. By sunset, the unnamed wall became the only wall that mattered. The Carvax attacked where tradition said they would, against the northern gates, beneath banners and siege towers. General Tavor congratulated himself on predicting the obvious. Mara was nowhere near it. She was half buried in dust beside the west curtain, listening through the stones, feeling vibrations. The first Carvax tunneler emerged, not with a roar, but with a soft crumble beneath a drainage arch that palace engineers had marked sealed 80 years earlier. Mara shot at once and whispered, "Found you." Then the ground opened in 6 places. Mara had known the main attack was theater because Earth had lost cities to enemies who understood pride. Send noise at the banners, send death through the drains. She moved before the second tunneler cleared the hole, dropping wire loops around its forelimbs, detonating charge packs not to kill, but to collapse the tunnel mouth. Carvax warriors poured through the remaining gaps, blades clicking, bodies armored in natural chitin, too many for one human and a rifle. Mara backed up the stairway, counting every step, every breath, every shadow. She had turned the wall into a problem only she knew the answer to. That was when the command post realized its map was already obsolete. Princess Loom saw the first warning flare from the tower balcony. A single red burst over the west curtain. She demanded troops be diverted. But General Tavora refused, convinced it was a feint. The northern gates were shaking. Nobles were watching. History was pointed in the wrong direction. Lume seized a signal horn herself and ordered a reserve squad west, only to learn the inner passage had been blocked by falling stone. No one could reach Mara quickly from the command post. They watched through magnifiers as the lone human fought along the wall walk, a small figure against a crawling swarm. Mara was not defending stones, she was buying minutes. She triggered old murder holes with a hammer because the mechanisms had rusted shut, dumped lamp oil from ceremonial braziers because no one had stocked proper fuel, shoved broken statues into stairwells, and dragged a wounded alien sentry behind a parapet without pausing to learn his name. Every time the Carvax reached the top, she made the top smaller. Her rifle ran dry. Her side bled. One shoulder hung wrong after a warrior slammed her into a Merlin. Yet the west curtain held 1 meter at a time. The Carvax commander finally climbed onto the wall, twice Mara's height. He spoke through a translator nailed to his chest and offered her mercy if she opened the inner gate. Mara laughed, not because it was funny, but because pain had left her with limited diplomacy. She looked behind him at the packed tunnel mouths, ahead to the city roofs glowing with families who still believed the northern battle was the real one, then planted her last engineer spike into the stone at her feet. The commander asked what one human could possibly trade for a city. Mara said, "Gravity." She kicked the spike trigger. The west wall's ancient flood counterweights released. Systems meant to lower harbor chains in another century, but rewired by a human who had spent the morning reading maintenance scars instead of accepting medals. Massive stone weights dropped through hollow towers, shaking the curtain. The weakened outer parapet broke away beneath the Carvax swarm, not inward toward the city, but outward into the tunnel field. Tons of stone and screaming invaders vanished into the holes they had carved. The commander lunged. Mara met him with an empty rifle like a club, and both crashed against the gate wheel when Lume's reserve squad finally broke through. They found Mara standing because she had tied herself to the gate chain. The west curtain was cracked, smoking, almost gone, but closed. The Carvax assault collapsed without its hidden breach. And the northern towers, so proud and loud, became irrelevant by dawn. General Tavor arrived, covered in victory dust that was not his, prepared to either praise or condemn depending on witnesses. Lume reached Mara first, cut the wire binding her to the chain, and caught her before she fell at the Victory Council. Tavir declared that refusing command had been reckless. Mara, bandaged from jaw to hip, agreed. This confused everyone. She said command posts were useful, but a post sees what reports survive long enough to reach it. Walls see what claws are doing right now. Lume asked why Mara had not explained the threat more clearly. Mara looked at the officers who had ignored a red flare because it came from the wrong place, then said, "Your Highness, some people hear a warning only after the wall starts screaming. The city carved her name into the west curtain before repairs began. Not above the gate, not in the command chamber. But on the cracked stones where she had stood alone, Mara objected because humans object to statues made too early. Lume ignored her because princesses learn quickly in war. General Tavor offered her any command post in the kingdom. With staff and rank, Mara considered the offer, then asked whether the west drains had been inspected yet. Lume laughed, understanding before the general did. Mara had turned down a command post once, not because she feared command, but because she knew exactly where command would be blind